first thematic cluster on multimedia. And in this cluster, we have two projects. So Voice of the People with Jeff Corondo, who is already here. Jeff, are you with us?
Yes, here.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah. I hope I'm
thank
loud
you.
and clear.
Yes, very good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, and our thoughts are also with you in this moment. We also
You're
have
welcome.
another, yeah, we also have another project, collective production of reparative counter histories in the Darien with Paulo Vignolo, Catalina Munoz, who are also here with us today. Hi, Paulo. Hi, Catalina. So, yes, so I will give the first opportunity to Jeff, please.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi. Great. Great. Hey, Elite. I'm happy to see you. Yeah, to go straight to my presentation, I think I have my multimedia work ready, and it's a music video under the title of Voice of the People. And this is as a compilation of my own reflection as I say weave through um, um, transformative memory and seeking alternative perspectives, and I would say through artistic expression ways of expression. And it's my original composition. Of course, it came from the exchange, especially the one in Belfast and let me say in Northern Ireland, Belfast and Derry. So allow me to just go straight, and I don't know if I'm able to share. Um, yes. I think I have a number. Sorry, it's asking me a few security questions. I hope it will allow me to share. Um, hmm.
Do you want me to share for you, Jeff, if there's specific things that you need to share?
Yes. Just the music video.
Okay, so I can help share for you the music video.
Yeah, just play for me. Yeah, yeah, because it's asking security questions, so it may take some time.
Can you see my
Yeah.
screen? I'm also
Yes,
going to share
please.
maybe you can also share the link to the chat, Jeff, for other people.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no audio.
Yeah, it's not playing the audio. I can't hear it. Is there a way you can work on the audio? Oops.
So I'm just seeing it says I can't share audio when other participants are using share, so you might have to stop it and restart with share audio and share screen. But the video is great so far, Jeff. Even without the music. Looks fabulous. Cool to see those scenes.
Stop sharing and then restart sharing again. Is that what you're saying, Erin?
Yeah, and then the third button over is share audio. So you could put share audio and then share screen. Ulrike, this is based on your tip. So if you have any others.
No, that's all I got. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's working now.
So, walking down the streets, I see a lot of people living in agony. Walking down the streets, I see a lot of people living in pain. On the streets of Belfast, I see walls and hidden barriers. On the streets of Bogota, I see signs of living memories. We are one nation, but policies and politics are putting us apart. We are one people, but policies and politics are putting us apart. So this is a song of resistance, resisting against your systems. This is a voice of the people, resisting against your fiction. So this is a song of resistance, resisting against your systems. This is a voice of the people, resisting against your fiction. So we're living a life, a ghetto life, and in this life there's no life. We're living a wicked life like a broken piece of glass. Where young people cannot meet their full potential cause the system never give them the opportunity. But do you have to take me up and lock me up? Cause I told you that you have to fix your system. Do you have to take a man and kill him? Cause he told you that you have to fix your system. But do you have to take a man and kill a man? Cause he told you that you have to fix your system again. So this is a song of resistance, resisting against your systems. This is a voice of the people, resisting against your fiction. When we look at each other through the lens of the color of our skin, when we look at each other through the lens of economy, when we look at each other through the lens of politics, then we look at each other through the lens of religion. That's not good at all. Reform again. Reform. Reform again. Reform. You're building schools while graduating fools who can't afford food with nothing any good. Walking down the streets and hawking Chinese schools, educated people but fools. Reform again. resistance, resisting against your systems. This is a voice of the people, resisting against your fiction. So this is a song of resistance, resisting against your systems. This is the voice of the people, resisting against your fiction. He who builds a wall should not kill a man who builds a bridge. He who kills a nation should not kill a man who builds a nation. Reform again. Reform. Reform again. Reform. Reform again. Reform.
Bravo.
Thank you.
So special recognition to Alita Mbara and Dr. Fernanda. Thanks so much. It has been a collaborative work with them. So I think I sent my heartfelt appreciation to them. So basically this captured some of the experience while in Northern Ireland, the hidden barriers, the inequalities, the differences, and then calling for reform, and how the system is not supportive, or is not supporting growth in different areas, from education to economy, and several lines of division and so on. So if you have any question according to the lyrics, feel free to ask and we can engage. Or if, I don't know, if I send back Grace, maybe she can guide to the next step. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. I think maybe we can go to Paulo and team's project first, and then we will have a round of discussion for both of the projects.
Thank you.
Yes, we will come back to you. Thank you for sharing such a beautiful song. Yes, so Paulo, would you like to take the next project?
Thank you very much, Grace. And Catalina is going to start. We are going to present together.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm Catalina Muñoz from Colombia. And so, like Paolo was saying, we're going to present together our project. So I'm going to share a PowerPoint presentation because we want to be able to show you a little bit of the place we are working at. So give me 1 second. Share. But I want to share, hold on, entire screen? No. Why this is not, hold on. Give me 1 second. There. Power. Oh. Sorry, it's the first time I'm using Zoom on this computer, and it wants me to give Zoom permissions.
Today is the day of permissions.
It's telling me I have to leave and come back. Give me 1 second.
Or maybe...
Catalina left already? Okay.
Okay. Hopefully this is going to work. Hold on, I don't know why it's not ready.
I also have your presentation, Catalina.
Okay.
Me via email as a PDF format. Can I share that for you?
Yes, let me just give it one last try so that I don't have to bother you asking you to move forward. I think I can. Yes. Can you see it now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. No, hold on. But now I want to put it in presentation mode because this is not in presentation mode, correct? Ay, ay, ay. Bueno, I'm gonna leave it there because so that we don't lose any time. Okay. So the title of our project is Collective Production of Reparative Counterhistories in the Darien. Our basic premise is that storytelling is a powerful vehicle for transformation. So our project is set within in this transitional justice process that is going on in Colombia right now. And we believe that building futures of social justice requires, among the many things that it requires us telling stories differently. Telling differently the stories of our pasts of violence, but also telling stories that allow us to imagine our future differently. So our project, what we are proposing is a co-creation project that brings together two academic historians, who are Paolo and myself, a community leader from the Darien region in the north of Colombia. I'll show you here the map of where the Darien is located in northwestern Colombia, in the limit with Panama. And we also bring together a collective of audio documentarians who are Colombian, but a lot of them are based in Canada. They are called Colectiva Normal, and they have a long experience in producing narrative podcasts in Colombia. We came together to explore the potential of collective research creation to produce rigorous, profound, and also aesthetically rich storytelling about the history of this region in particular. But of course, we are trying to explore these methodologies that can be used elsewhere and not only for this region. So our project is based on the premise that building, as I was saying at the beginning, that building futures of social justice requires history. How does justice and history come together? On a very basic level, in terms of reckoning with what happened, right? We appeal to history, and we have in transitional justice for quite a few decades, in terms of being able to respond to the right to truth, right? To research what happened in these violent pasts. But then, of course, this opens the question to a second level, and it's which is the truth that we need to reckon with, right? So usually transitional justice apparatuses remain at the level of the human rights violations, right? So in that sense, they appeal to the recent past when the violence happened. But we know now that...
Catalina, sorry,
Yes?
Catalina, can you just go a little bit slower for the interpretation?
Thank you. Yes, sorry, I
Thank
speak
you.
very quickly. There's the first level of reckoning with what happened, and history's role there is very important in truth commissions, for example. But then there's a second level that comes out of criticisms precisely to those truth commissions, which has to do with the fact that usually we stay in the recent past of the human rights violations. And we know by now that we need deeper truths that go deeper in time, longer histories that help us understand the root causes of violence, and how those root causes of violence are not only tied to material causes like socioeconomic structures of inequality, but also to cultural and symbolic structures, right? Of the way in which we create hierarchies in our societies of whose lives are worth more than others, who can speak for themselves and who can't, who produces knowledge and who doesn't. So that's a second level in which history can be very powerful in helping us transition to futures of social justice. But then we want to pose that there's also a third level, and is that history is crucial for political imagination towards change. That is to say that history should come into these transitional justice processes, not only to illuminate violence in the past, but also searching into the past for alternatives, right? How have people devised different ways of being that can help us imagine different futures? So we believe that history is crucial for political imagination, that history helps us create a place for us in the world. History helps us imagine ourselves as political actors that can bring about change. And in this project, we are posing that history should help us also moving away from, like that focus on violence, on the difficult past, and hence we want to inquire into the past to think about, to research and tell the stories of how people have come together in different ways, in more just ways. Because we also find that in Colombia, everywhere when we work with communities, right? Communities whose stories have been told mainly from the perspective of victimhood, but they have so much more to tell. We have so much more to learn from them in terms of how to live better. So that's where the focus of our work is, right? We want to stress that by the same token that history has been violent, the way in which we have told these stories has reduced people to victimhood. The archive itself silences voices. History has been used by colonizing powers to legitimize domination. We want to pose that history can also be reparative by the same token, right? We can use history to challenge those power relations, to empower people who have been silenced so far, to tell their stories in a different light. So our goal in general is to challenge the methodologies, the places, and the temporalities we have used to tell the histories of violence in Colombia, but also beyond. So that's our general framework, and then now I'm going to pass it to Paolo to tell you a little bit more about our team and the region that we're working in.
Thank you, Catalina. Hi, everybody. Just a few words on the team in order to underline the importance of the participatory and collective aspect of this research action. With Catalina, we know each other. We have a long-term collaboration dating back to the peace agreements between government and FARC in 2016. We've been working on public history initiatives. But this time there are two projects that came together. Catalina was working in Rio Sucio, Chocó, which is not far from the Darien region we are working now, on a beautiful project called the La Otra Orilla, the other side of the river, the other edge of the river, with a participatory collaboration with Ernest Erna and Ana Luisa Ramirez, who are producers of this podcast series that is available. You can find it on Spotify. And so that was her main concern, and I've been working with a whole bunch of people since 20 years in the Darien region. We were working on the very first city that Spaniards founded in the continental landmass in the 16th century, called Santa Maria la Antigua del Darien. It's a history of the early conquest, and now it's an archaeological historical park. But while working on this historical archaeological project in a region that is a very troublesome region, it's now controlled by Clan del Golfo. We met with people that had a really extraordinary kind of stories to tell. A story of resistance, a story of fighting for justice through education, stories that tell about solidarity and collaboration among settlers, campesino, indigenous, Black people in the region. Just a few words about the region. Darien is part of the Isthmus of Panama. It has been a very strategical region since the early conquest. It's somehow the darkest side of Panama. It's a place where all the trafficking and all the smuggling goes around. It's now very famous for, or it has been sadly famous for the migrant route of people trying to get to the United States through the rainforest of Darien. The route is now closed, but it can open again in any moment. But it's also a place of land grabbing, of illegal mining, of drug and weapon trafficking, and it has been controlled by the guerrilla, FARC guerrilla since the 80s, and then with a very bloody war by paramilitaries, and now the Clan of Golf, called Clan del Golfo, which is a criminal organization. So when already 15 years ago, people in Gilgal start to tell me about the way they got together as farmers, making a cooperative in somehow in a Christian socialist project during colonization, then turned out to be a school, and it turned out to be an educational project. And that was really taking risk of their lives. One of the leaders was murdered. Other people got exiled. And I was really struck by these stories, and I said, you should make these stories public. But at the time, it was impossible to make them public because it was too dangerous for people there. And some 15 years afterwards, the conditions are make it possible, and they want to make it. So I always thought that was something that had to be explained by their voices. I didn't feel like it was a story I could write by myself. It was their voices. And so we met with Catalina, that was making a series of podcasts in the same region. And we said, okay, that's what we really need. We need to make it through podcasts. So Rudecinda Marquez, Rude, is one of the teachers of this school, has been through all the process and accepted to be part of the team. She is the leader of the project, but she is part of a much bigger group of professors and students of this school that are actively collaborating with us. So Colectiva Normal is helping us from Canada, and that's a little bit the kind of collaboration that is going around the process. We're really grateful to the Transformative Memory International Network to help us to move ahead this project, because it's really important for people there, and I think it's turning out to be a very important way to talk about these micro experiences that are very common in Colombia in the middle of the war, but that don't have the possibility to be heard beyond local borders. So that's what a little bit we were on. And Catalina wants to say one last word.
Yes. Before we finish, I want to show you the pictures and to share with you what we have done with the funding that we got from the ERC. So far, this funding was crucial for us, as Paolo was saying, to get started with the project. So basically, we used the resources for three things. One was to begin drafting a possible script, like themes for the different episodes. We are envisioning 8 podcast episodes of 15 minutes approximately each. So we've been working with community leader Rudecinda Marquez, who is a former school teacher in Gilgal, to think about these different possible themes for the episodes. That's the first thing we've done. The second one was we were able to purchase the equipment, the recording equipment, so that the community could begin collecting interviews. Rudecinda has been on top of this project. So this photo that you're looking at here was the first thing we did besides buying the equipment. The third thing we did with this money was to provide them with training. And we did something really nice there, and is that you see in this picture, the person who's standing up is Henry Serna. He was the co-producer of the previous podcast I produced in the Bajo Atrato region. So Henry was trained in the previous project to produce podcasting, he and Ana Luisa. And what we did was we hired them with the ERC funds to come to Gilgal and for them to train the community leaders in Gilgal in podcast production. So this is one of the workshops they did. We did this in October of last year. Here you can see Henry also teaching. This is the person in the middle with the glasses is teacher Rudecinda Marquez, who's our community partner, and she's with 2 high school students who are learning from Henry, getting familiar with the equipment. This is a workshop we did also months before, to present the idea to the community and to like ask them to join us in this project. We run spaces with them that you can see in this photo to think with them through what would be their objectives in telling these stories, what themes they wanted to cover, who would be the audience. So these are all photos we took at the school in Gilgal, running these workshops with the community. And finally, these are some of the interviews. This is a photo of here. Henry is helping Rudecinda with the equipment, and Rudecinda is interviewing another community member, Sunilda Sanchez in this case. So far, we've been able to collect 40 interviews, oral history interviews. Each of them is approximately 1 hour, touching on different topics of the history of this region. So this is where we are at right now. We have the community has been trained. They are collecting the oral history interviews. And where we want to go forward now, and we're looking for additional funding, is we need resources to actually produce the podcast episodes, because we need to write scripts, we need to produce the music and so on. And we also want to produce curriculum so that school teachers can incorporate this story into their classrooms in teaching social sciences, which we also did in the previous project. And you can see in the website the curriculum that we produced tied to the previous podcast. And we also want to produce a community archive so that these oral histories are not trapped in someone's computer, but are actually made available to the community and can be used further in future projects. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you, Catalina. Thank you, Paulo. Yes, these are very interesting projects from both Jeff and Catalina and Paulo. So we still have a few minutes for this for a discussion. So I would like to give the floor to anybody who has comments or questions or would like to know more about the projects, please. Or if not, I can also take my authority as the facilitator to ask you question. If I may. So these are all very interesting project, and to tie in with the theme of the session about the multimedia. So I would like to ask both of you, Jeff and also Paulo and Catalina, how far do you think is the reachability or the effectiveness of these multimedia platforms, multimedia formats, and who are actually consuming your work, as far as you've known? Yeah, please.
I don't know if Jeff wants to go first so that we keep in order.
Okay. Thank you for giving me the floor again. In terms of reachability, it's the whole of northern Uganda, but because also it is in English, it serves not only northern Uganda, but also any other region, and I believe it can be used for lectures in class on social justice and social change. So it can, the target audience ranges from maybe policymakers to scholars to students, but also the affected communities. And ways to reach these communities would be through online platforms, YouTube, also Facebook. In northern Uganda, majorly radio stations, that is scheduled to start apparently. And therefore, I think I'll be updating the management team of Transformative Memory International Network in due course on the next phase of the project, that is community engagement. But as far as production is concerned, it's over. So there are still a few more elements that are left to be accomplished from this. But yeah, shortly, that's what I can say. So the audience is from scholars to affected communities to policymakers and practitioners and so on.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. Yeah, to Catalina.
Okay, I will say that in contrast with Jeff, whose product is already out in the world and he can talk more about the circulation, ours is still in progress, no? But what I can say is that we decided to use podcast form. It was a very conscious decision, and it has to do with the fact that in Colombia, the one media that gets everywhere is radio. So podcast allows us to move between urban audiences, and there are, I think, our target are young people that are consuming a lot of podcasts these days. But we also want to be able for this product to get to local communities where radio is the way. So we are expecting to eventually have our podcast circulate in community radio stations, which is what we did with the previous podcast, and also online. We use podcast platforms, of course, but we also use YouTube, which in Colombia is also, like everyone has YouTube on the smartphones. So the podcast, we also want this podcast series to be on YouTube. So the circulation will be in digital platforms for a more urban audience, perhaps, through community radio stations, and very importantly, through the pedagogical material. Because you can't just, like put a podcast out in the world and expect that it will be used. So we think that it's very important to move it with teachers, social studies teachers in the schools. And the final thing I want to say about media is that podcast is really wonderful in that it allows you to convey a story not only in an argumentative and logical way, but using the aesthetics to move emotion. And we think that is crucial with these stories, that this is not only about convincing with words, but it's about allowing people to feel region, to get closer to people, to have a more experiential door, no, into these stories.
Wow, thank you, Catalina. It's amazing to see how these considerations are taken into account in building these projects. So I still have 1 minute, so I'm giving the last minute to anybody who wants to share their thoughts on these two projects or questions or remarks. Yeah, Pilar, please.
I just wanted to say that for me, in both projects, is to see crystallize the idea that there is research, there is the experience of the participants, but there is also a manner to document and create archives. And so it's kind of, like this idea that we've been working so much about how memory is so fluid and a dynamic field. I see it materialize here so beautifully. And it really, this idea, for example, documenting, uh, Jeff documenting your experience in Northern Ireland and in Colombia a little bit, that is as well a very different way to document. A musician from Africa documenting the travels in Northern Ireland. And the same, I think, with the project with in Darien, it is to see, community leaders as a strong, as the two community leaders from Rio Sucio training our community leaders, and, like this kind of moving in a cycle, the train, retrain, transmit, educate, and then disseminate. So it just for me, it's allowed for such a dynamic understanding of the archive, documentation, and memory, and particular through this creative multimedia thing. So really exciting.
Thank you, Peter. Jeff or Catalina, do you want to respond briefly on that? No? Okay. Yeah, okay, so that's
Not really,
yeah.
just my heartfelt appreciation. Not really much for now, but I think on a general note, the progress has been good, and from this point on, I'll be more or less sharing. This also marks the launch, I say, because before the committee has literally, even I would say this is a committee, has given it its blessings. I think it would be, I think, rude of me to start promoting without this blessing. So, I mean, above all, from now, my channels and Music for Peace channel, I will tag Transformative Memory, and then radio stations in Gulu and other influencers, get them involved to get a broader audience. But I'll keep the team updated. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you very much also to Paulo and Catalina. I think that is a very good point to wrap up this session about the mobility of memory, the fluidity, but also the connectivity between places, between different groups, between people also. So yeah, thank you again. So I think this is the end of the first session. So I would like to hand over to Natalia to go into the second session on performative arts. Thank you.
Bueno, gracias, Grace, Jeff, Catalina, Paolo. Súper bonito también entrar como por los mundos sonoros a la memoria y vamos a seguir este viaje de los proyectos emergentes que también al final de la conversación de hoy, Pilar y Erin nos compartirán un poco más de cómo siguen los caminos de esta figura de
With us
proyectos
of how
emergentes
these projects are
en
going to
la red
continue
de memoria
emerging in
transformativa.
the
Entonces, el
network of
siguiente
transformative
grupo
memory.
de
So the
proyectos
next
o
set of
el siguiente
projects,
par de
or
proyectos,
the
no sé
next
si están aquí,
set
no veo
of
ahorita bien a
projects, I'm not sure
Moses,
if they're
pero
here,
creo que se desconectó.
but I think somebody got disconnected.
Lo denominamos
But
artes
we
performativas
say
y
performative
articulamos
arts,
aquí
and we
dos
articulate it
lugares también,
to
dos
sites,
idiomas
to
de los
languages
proyectos,
of two
uno que es del
projects. One
artista
that
mapuche
is of the
Lorenza
Mapuche
Ayapan
artist
de
Lorenza
Chile,
Japan from Chile,
que se llama
that is called
Amor sin muerte mapuche y
Love
el otro
Without
es
Mapuche
Ecos
Death,
de Resiliencia,
and the other one is
memoria
Resiliency
transformativa a
Echoes,
través
and
un
transformative memory
documental de
through a
danza teatro
documentary
en Uganda.
that involves
Entonces
dance and
vamos a
theater
escuchar
in Uganda.
inicialmente a Moses y
And
no sé si
so first
Lorenza
we're gonna
se
hear
pudo
from
conectar.
Moses, and I'm not sure if Lorenza
¿Estará
was
por
able to
aquí?
connect herself.
Nila, ¿ella te
I don't know if
confirmó?
she's here. Nila, did she confirm?
So I heard from Fernanda that she cannot join, but she has a video that she wants to share. And I have the video. So if I can share the video, and maybe Fernanda, you can add a little bit of context of why she cannot join today. That would be, is that okay?
Yes, it is.
Perfecto, sí. Gracias, Fernanda, entonces, por
Perfect. Thank you, Fernanda,
hacer el puente. Y bueno,
for being
bienvenido,
that bridge.
Moses.
And welcome,
Tenemos
Moses.
15 minutos,
We have
un
15
poquitín más
minutes.
para que tú
We have a
nos
little bit of
compartas
time for you
la
to share
experiencia de Ecos
some
of
of your
Resilience.
experience of resilience echoes, or echoes of resilience.
So this is the video that Lorenza sent to Fernanda and I'm just going to play it right now.
Oh, okay. And Nila, just to say that Natalia just had invited Moses to present. I'm just wondering, is the interpretation working both ways?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, but doesn't matter. Natalia, ¿hacen el video primero o primero lo de Uganda?
Moses is here?
Moisés,
Yeah.
¿estás acá? Moses?
Moses is here.
Are you here?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yes, he's.
Ok, entonces podemos empezar con Moses como estaba en la
Okay,
agenda.
yes, I think we should start with
Yeah.
Moses and then we end with Lorenzo's video.
Go ahead, Moses.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Hello.
Hello, Moses. We hear you. We are here. You can
Okay.
start. Go ahead.
We hear you, yes.
Well, sorry, there was a network problem that I had small, but anyway, thank you so much, everyone on this beautiful platform. I'm so happy to be here. And before I invite you, I don't know if Nila could share my presentation I shared to her on the screen. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for holding this space with us today. Before I begin with, I'm called Okot Moses. I'm from northern Uganda, and I work with the Youth Advocacy Network, the network that work for the children born of war in northern Uganda. This is a network that is formed by a group of children born of war who thought twice that they can come together and do something that will help their mothers who are victims of conflict in northern Uganda. Now, before we continue, I want to invite each of you, I don't know, at your different space, to sit comfortably. I want to invite each of you at different space to sit comfortably and place your hand over your heart. I don't know. Are you hearing me? Yes, yes, yes. Place your hand over your heart. Yeah, at your comfortable space. Just place your hand over your heart. Your heart, heart. Yes, yes, heart. Heart.
Heart.
Now, yes. Now, gently move your body in a way that feels natural for you. Yes, exactly that way, Erin. Gently move your body in a way that feels natural, and perhaps swaying it side to side. Letting your shoulders rise and fall like a memory breathing through you. Let your shoulder rise and fall like a memory breathing through you. Let's take that for some few minutes. Let your shoulder rise and fall like a memory breathing through you. Feel it within your heart. Now, this is how we begin memory work, not in silence, but in the routine of what still lives in our bodies. Now, I want Nila to continue. That was a brief exercise that I wanted everyone to participate in and to understand that memory really lives. I wanted everyone to understand that memory lives, still lives in our bodies up to now. The memory you carry lives in our bodies. Well, take to why dance? Because we started this platform. Nila, can you take to where there's dance? Why dance? Yes. No? Continue. 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 Yes. Well, the reason why I said I made you to do this exercise is that this is how we begin memory work, and not in silence, but in the rhythms of what still lives in our body. Now, the reason why as Youth Advocacy Network, we choose dance is because for many of us, our bodies began speaking long before we had the words. And as a children born of war, sometimes the first language we knew was rhythm, the beat of fear, the wave of survival, and the themes of resilience in the world where our stories were often silent or fragmented. Now, this is the very reason why we came up with the idea for the dance, the Deutsche dance itself. Now, the dance for us is more than movement. It's a creative memory to us. It allows us to revisit the past without being consumed by it. In dance, memory becomes dynamic, not fixed, but it carried the breath. Are you getting me? Now, we choose to do Deutsche dance. It's a fusion of documentary, storytelling, expressive movement, because it allows us to bring the memory and the imagination of who we are as the children born of war. That is where, when we sat down to come up with the idea, we thought that we should come out with the idea of doing a Deutsche dance as a way of transformative memory that lives in our heart, and that's the best way we can heal. Now, the Echo of Resilience was very transformative to us because it began with the 10 youth participants, and many of us were children born of war, that we all came together. And secondly, the second thing we did was the selection, the criteria. Now, these youth, basically, we selected them because of their relationship to the memory, the trauma, and the healing. And some had never danced public before, but all carried the story that demanded movement, but we are not chosen for choreography, not for courage. Now, during the selection, we made sure that this youth really accept who they are, because they accept who they are by coming and do such performances, or to come and do the training with us. Now, the selection itself was was a recognition of the strength, not perfection, because we knew that ourselves we cannot dance. But what can we do with the memory within ourselves, but with the past that we hold in our life? That is why we did the selection. After we did the selection, we went straight to the training that took place. Nila, can you take to the training, the 1 week training? To us, 1 week training was not enough, but it was powerful. It was very, very powerful. The training lasted it was very intense week and beautiful week, because one of the rare moments that most of the youth confessed in their life. We felt both heavy and holy, because we came together, not just as youth, but witness to our own history, keepers of memory, and have been often left untold. Now, each morning we began in a circle with telling the story, no music, no movement, just we move, we not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, and we step into expressive movement. Now, to speak through our bodies, we started by looking through the different words that all in our art. That is when we talked about the 3 things during the training. 1 was memory. 2 was silence. 3 was the rejection and about the motherhood and the trauma that we hold. Now, these were not abstracted ideas, but they were living realities that we carried in our skin, and the skin in the back, and the bone of many of us. And yet they shared the moment. Now, we found something very powerful, that the body does not forget, but also knows how to heal. That is one thing that we found during the training, because one of the youth said, I didn't know my body had memory until I started to move. That is why at the beginning of this session, I did an exercise to allow you move through your body. to move your body and feel the memory within yourself. Now, because it was true for many of us, our bodies have never been holding story that we never had the chance to tell. Has been holding story that we never had the chance to tell. That gave us the permission. Now it opens a door for us and for the youth. Through the door, we met ourselves in a new way, not broken, but brave, and not silent, but strong. Because this youth confessed that because of the dance, some of them, the things that they couldn't speak out, came out openly. This was not a space that forced them to speak, but a space that made their hidden part to come out openly. Because just like their mothers has hidden a lot of things from them, there are things that some of them, or there are challenges that some of these youth went through in life up to now, that they are so hidden. For instance, one of the youth confessed how he ended up marrying with an old lady just to get tuition, to go to school. And this came out openly during around table discussion during the training. And for him, it was not something that he was forced to talk about it, but he felt that that dancing itself became a safe space for him to speak about it. And therefore, this is healing itself. Now, it was hard, it was healing, and it was holy for this youth. By the end of the week, something had shifted. Not everything was fixed, and not everyone was closed, but we had learned something very vital in the community and in the movement. We began to transform into power. That memory does not only have to act, it can also guide, connect, and renew. That is something that came out clearly during the training. Now, this training was not just a workshop. It was a homecoming, a return to self, and a return to one another, to each other. Because when these youth came together, they started feeling that they were not alone. Of course, they did not come to sit and just share their story or speak about their past, but because there was dance that made their inner self to come out, that hidden part of them to come out. That is where they openly talked about that space being something very healing for them. Now, let's go straight to Nila. I'm going to take to the performance. Now, after the training, because we had a 1 week training and we had a powerful performance at Elefante. Now, the accumulation of our work was a live performance at Elefante, whereby we were joined by several stakeholders. And the stakeholders, the mother of the children born of war, and some of the children born of war who were not part of the performance. Now, this was very powerful because the performance itself, to me, I thought it was just a normal performance. Just like when they talk of going for a show, most people think of an entertainment, but this was way much different from the entertainment. The audience were were not passive observer, they were witness and participant in the memory that we shared. Now, after the performance, one of the mother of the child, of the children born of war, shedded tears and came out and said, "You danced our life, your movement told what we could never say." Now, this was part of the, she shared that her testimony, part of the dance that involved abduction. I believe most of you have watched the video that it is in this presentation, also in the link that some of you can get at free time you watch it. Now, this was very powerful because it brought in the idea of dialogue, cross-cultural dialogue, whereby the stakeholders started to share the past conflict, comparing with the current situation of the children born of war. Where in these children, to me, this youth, these 10 youth stood as a middle of generation. of generation, because they were transmitting the past. They were between the past and the present. And
We lost you, Moses.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
We can't hear you, Moses. I wonder if Moses Koma catches with you. You could maybe jump on his.
Lo esperamos un momentito para ver si recupera la conexión.
Sí, Eren le está preguntando si de pronto el otro Moses pueden usar la conexión de él.
I
no,
see that.
Hello.
Hi,
Okay.
welcome back.
Yeah, I'm going to use Moses. My PC has just blacked out from here. I never expected that. So let me continue using his phone. So I was in the part of the stakeholders discussion that transpired during the performance. Now, after the final movement fell into silence, the silence cracked open into dialogue. But these were not the usual panel discussion that most of us have seen here in our spaces here in Uganda. But we understood that we created a more important performance. It was a mirror, a blame, but a communal act of understanding. Because when we talked of the issue of the children born of war in northern Uganda, most of them, most people tend to be silent about the issue. And this project wasn't all about, was way much different from what I expected. Now, after the performance, we went ahead to make a documentary video. That the link is shared in this. The link is shared in this presentation that Neil has placed in, whereby we captured the journey right from day one. The only thing that we missed out from the documentary was the selection process, because we felt the whole process of this docu dance was very impactful. Because right from the training, from the performance, and up to the end, up to the screening itself, was very, very impactful. So we made a video, a film, not just a record of dancers, but a testament to the survival, resilience, and strength. Now, this same video itself, we have managed to show it to different. Here, I have the link shared in the. I'll share the link in the comment section to other people. So this same video itself was played in the different stakeholders meeting here in Gulu, and this has itself been speaking for us. It has offered a specific platform for advocacy for ourselves, because sometimes we don't speak, we just put the video for itself, and we do the performance. Now, after making the documentaries and using the video, we're still using the video up to now. And then the dance itself, we thought this was just a one-time project that will come in our life and stop. We find our ways. We are still using this same dance in the different platform, even after the project has ended. Now, to us, this dance has become very powerful. Personally, to me, I stand as testimony to this, because of this project, I've been able to speak about dance as a creative ways of memory in Yogyakarta in February, and this I never expected such space that will speak about dance and connect it to the way it is holding memory right now and keeping memory right now. Secondly, different stakeholders meeting right now, different panel right now. We are called to speak up, to show the dance, to dance what we are supposed to show to talk about in the panel discussion. For instance, the youth, we did a performance on talking about the opportunities for the children born of war. But this performance was picked right from the right from the part of the heck of resilience, and I realized that this dance is not just is not just ending with the project. This has given us a way more platform of advocacy for us more than we think, and yeah. Then push to the next one. Now, before I end, I want you all to understand that our memories are not what archived frozen in time. They live, breathe, and move within us. Now, this dance, how we carry ourselves memory forward, we have forwarded this to this a different level. That's like I was speaking about it. Now, I want to advise you that as long as we are archiving, as long as we are putting the memory in writing and everything, can we let the memory live within ourselves? By either speaking it out, by either dancing it, putting ourselves in and letting the memory live within us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Moses. Powerful project. Thank you. It's beautiful. Tuvimos la experiencia en Indonesia de vivenciar con Moses la fuerza de la danza. Así que es muy
Dancing.
conmovedor escuchar
So
a
it is
Moses
very moving
compartiendo su
to hear
proyecto.
Moses
Vamos a
sharing his
escuchar, a
project.
ver el video
We're
de
going to
Lorenza
watch
y tendremos ya un
Lorenza's
momento
video,
para
and
compartir
then
entre
we'll
todos.
have a little bit of a minute to share about both.
Al estilo revestido esta ave, gente de la comunidad la llama pájaro bonito. Llorona es la viuda, hasta hoy por nombre lleva. Una mujer en su canto recuerda, dice, con licor en el cuerpo, que la, con ansia invoca al final, su lamento, su canto.
Gracias, Nila Fernanda,
Thank you, Nila Fernanda,
traer el video de Lorenza. Y bueno,
for
una
bringing
lástima no
Lorenza's
tener aquí
video
a
here.
Lorenza
It's really
para que
sorry to not have
escucháramos,
Lorenza
pero muy
here to
conmovedor ver
hear her
esas
voice,
imágenes.
but it's very
Y
moving
bueno,
to
que
see
nos
those
llegan los
images
sonidos, seguimos
and
con
those
estos
sounds.
mundos sonoros.
We continue with this
Yo
sounding
quisiera antes
world.
de abrir para
Before
las
opening up
preguntas y
for
resonancias de lo
questions
que
and
nos
reflections
compartieron
of what was
Moses
shared
y Lorenza a
by
través de su
Moses and
video,
Lorenza through her video,
como resaltar algo
it's
que me
maybe
conmovió
to
mucho de
highlight
la
something that was
presentación
very
de Moses
moving
y es
from
esta
Moses'
invitación también a
presentation, and it's this
movernos, a sentir el
invitation about
cuerpo
being
y
about
a pensar
feeling our
muchas veces
bodies
en que
and to think
hablamos del ejercicio de hacer
through
memoria
talking when we talk about the
y
exercise of
pensamos
making
eso como
memory,
ejercicios muy
we
racionales y
always
aquí
think through
en la
these
red de memoria
exercises as very
transformativa
rational exercises,
creo
but
que los
here in
artistas siempre
transformative
nos han
memory,
invitado
the
a pensar
artists
desde,
have always
desde
pushed
otros
us to
lugares
think
y
through
con
other
otras
places,
partes de
from other
nuestro
places,
cuerpo.
and with other parts of
Entonces
our
quería
bodies.
poner ahí ahora de
So
pronto, Moses, si
I
nos
just wanted to
puedes
put it
contar un
there.
poco más en alguna parte de tu
If you wanted to
presentación.
share
Hablaste de la
in some
relación
part
entre
of the
testimonio e
presentation, you talked
imaginación
about
y cómo estas
the
memorias en
uh,
movimiento y estas
the
memorias
connection
que están
between
en el
memory
cuerpo ponen en diálogo el testimonio
dance and
y
how
las
these
memorias de dolor, pero
memories
también la
put
posibilidad de imaginar
memories of
y
pain,
de
but also the
imaginar juntos
possibilities
y
of
de crear
imagining
juntos.
together and
Y
creating together
conectando también
and
un poco con
connecting
lo
a little
que
bit with
escuchamos en
what we
el primer
heard
grupo
in the first
y de
group
lo que nos compartían
and
Catalina,
what was shared by
Paolo,
Catalina and Paolo
Jeff.
and Jeff.
Siento que aquí vemos
I
como
feel that
unos diálogos
we see
entre
here some
lo que se
dialogues
crea en el
from what
proceso
is
mismo de hacer
created in the
memoria, en el
process of
proceso
making memory,
creativo,
in that
pero
creative
lo que se
process,
puede crear
but
en la
also what
relación
can be
con otros
created in
públicos,
that relationship with other
desde la
publics,
escuela
with
o
other
desde las
communities from
comunidades que están
school or
escuchando la
communities that are
música que
hearing
crea
this
Jeff
music
o
that is
viendo
created
y
by Jeff or
participando del
seeing and
performance
participating
y
in a
de la
performance
danza teatro
and
o
dance
nosotros
theater
como testigos del video
on
de
us or
Lorenza,
us
como
as
esas
witnesses
memorias que se expanden a otros
of
cuerpos y
like this video from
generan
Lorenza.
otra serie de sentidos
So
muy
what
poderosos.
it generates
Bueno, adelante Catalina.
can be very powerful. Catalina?
Gracias, Natalia. Yo quería,
Yes,
en parte es que me
thank you.
hiciste pensar en algo que me
Because
pareció
you
tan
made me
poderoso
think in
del
something
video
very powerful
del proyecto
from
de
the
Moses,
video, from
y es como esta
Moses' video.
posibilidad
And it's how
de
the
traer la
possibility of
memoria no
bringing
como algo que ya
memory,
está
not
cerrado,
as something
algo
that's
que ya
close,
fue,
not something that
sino que a
happened
través de la
in the past,
danza la
but through
pone en
dance,
flujo, ¿no? Entonces es
it,
como
it
esta
makes
cosa
it
tan poderosa que a
fluid.
veces
So
nos
it's a
cuesta
very
con las
powerful
palabras de
thing
cómo
that
la memoria
sometimes
importa
with
porque
words
sí que
is
vive en nuestros cuerpos,
hard
¿no? Entonces ese
to be
cuestionamiento
able
como
to
esa
move ahead
temporalidad, y me
because
parece que ahorita escuchándote tú
we
lo
stay through
mencionabas cuando
temporality.
hablabas de a futuro,
And
¿no?
when
Porque
you
nos pone,
mention
pues nos movemos con
about
esa memoria,
future,
entonces también nos da la
and
posibilidad
we
de
move with
movernos a
that
futuro.
memory, so we
Entonces
have
quería
that
solamente
possibility
señalar
to
eso que me
move
parece
towards the
poderosísimo de cómo
future.
ese
So think that's very powerful. Think through how movement can help us conceptualize memory in a new way and to be able to bring it back as an action, something alive and not something that's dead.
Thank you so much. That was
So Moses, thank you so much.
terrific. Y bueno, qué lástima que no tengamos a Lorenza, ¿no? Porque va en la misma dirección.
And we're sorry that we don't have Lorenza here, but I can see the connections between the projects, but I would love to hear more from Lorenza.
Gracias, Catalina. Bueno, abrimos el micrófono.
Thank you, Catalina. So
anima.
I'm opening up the mic.
Dale, Pili.
No, solo para decir muy brevemente que Fernanda escribió
Just
en
to
el
say
chat,
very briefly that
Fernanda wrote in the
Fernanda wrote in the
a brief description of Lorenza's project, of what she wants to communicate. Escribió un poco que se quería comunicar con el proyecto. So, to direct your attention to the chat.
So,
Erin.
gracias. Thank you. I think I speak on so many that Moses, that was really powerful. And then to hear the music of Lorenza after and the imagery, the two together was just another way of reflecting on how memory is embodied but flows through the body. Because I just felt it going through the whole body. Moses, you talked a lot about how once you began dancing, you began connecting almost immediately with another kind of language of memory. And it almost sounds like it's changing the way you are moving through the world with your advocacy, including presenting at this policy forum through dance rather than through words and seeing the impact of that. And I wanted just to invite you, if you wanted to speak a little bit more about that or to ask. I see Yona is with you. Yona also, I think, was one of the dancers. So if any of the other youth wanted to share further about how this is transforming the way that you're transmitting memories and the impact that has on the audiences. Thank you so much.
Bueno, adelante, Moses, si quieres resonar aquí con...
Moses, go ahead if you want to give some reflections here from what you've heard.
Yeah, thank you so much. Basing on the question, how dance is transforming the way, I don't know if Erin could repeat the question once again so that I jump in. Yeah.
I just wanted to also invite Yona. Was Yona one of the dancers?
Yes, she was.
Is she there?
Yeah.
Would she also want to speak from her perspective of how it has been changing how you think about engaging the public in memory and advocacy? Or Yona could speak of her experience from her perspective.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Hi. Okay, like according to me, the dance and the performance was really very good. It was really helpful to me. The first thing is like it was really important for me to really express myself before like the audience and like maybe to my fellow children born of war as well. As Moses had said, it was even one way of healing through hearts, that is through dance, really. That is according to me. It has really helped me also to get that safe space to trust my fellow children born of war, and as well as during performance also like giving trust, because I know that like we as children born of war, to some other point, to some other extent, we have lost hope, we have lost trust and all that. But coming together in a group, it has helped in building that trust, love for one another, and to the community as well. Because by coming together, holding our hand together, each and every step, each and every moment that we normally gather together, even if there is that pain in our heart, we release it at that moment. And when we are going back home, we know that we have been okay, like the day has been okay. And you go back home when your mind is also fresh and just without any stress and other things, leaving like the past and maybe the struggles and hardship behind us. And to me also, I have really realized that this memory performance, and this performance was like a tool for both like me and the community to change, really. Because now I grew up like a child knowing that I was not loved, I was not cared for and all that. And then putting into mind that I have these brothers and sisters that are always with me, and almost like for the moment that we have been sharing together, I felt that we have been going through similar situations, and it has also helped us like to overcome some of the situations. And like for me, I was also helping so much, like bringing together my peers, like these other children, because of course it is really hard. It was really hard to okay, let me say it was really emotional, and like always, like how should I put it, awakening these psychological wounds that has been within us. So by doing the performance, it was also helping me and my fellow to address this emotion and the wounds that was within us, and the same as to the communities as well. I have realized this like during the performance, when we are doing the performance, like you really see that our parents and some of the audience that were also there shedding tears and all that, and really you realize that people haven't healed yet out of maybe what has been happening in northern Uganda. So it also helped in addressing this emotional well-being and psychological wounds in both as the children, the parents, and the community as well. And I played really much role in the emotional part of it, like the psychological part of it, because like me also, I'm a student doing counseling psychology. So I really fit in there very well, because the purpose was just looking at the healing part of it and how best we can like work together as team of children born of war, and how best we can like pass this information to bring about healing to ourselves and to our parents and to the community as well. So it was really interesting, and it has also given time like for the audience to reflect on how resilient we are as children born of war out of all that we have been through. And really, they have also realized that what we are fighting for is the peace in the community, within ourselves, and in the nation as well. Because now, like the body, everything, like relating the past, current, and the future, we are determined, really. That's what I could say. And I also saw in some other parts whereby where one of us was like saying for her, she has been like having problem with the mother, because the mother never wanted to reveal or maybe tell to her the truth where maybe the father come from and all that. And now after all this, we came together, and it has really foster like reconciliation with the parents and their children and the community at large. Because now after the performance, we went back home and then explained everything, and now you see like this mother was like telling to the daughter that really, I am sorry, I never knew that I was doing this, and I never knew that I was hurting you by hiding maybe your background and that. So they've realized, and that was the good part of it. And it was really very, very good. And to me, everything was really marvelous. And our expectation was met, because now, like, if you want to bring out something, if you want to explain, you should bring it in a way that everyone will understand, and they'll really see that, yes, this is maybe what you wanted to say, and it is noted and all that. Thank you so much. Briefly, I just want to end here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yona.
Gracias, Yona. Gracias, Moses. Moses está
Thank
levantando
you,
la
Yana.
mano.
Thank you, Moses. Moses, you're raising your hand, but we're going to
Y después cerramos con un
give a
audio que nos
moment
comparte
to an
Lorenza
audio that Lorenza shared, but maybe you can talk so that we can move to the video that Lorenza sent. We had scheduled a break of 10 minutes, but we're gonna do a 5-minute, 3-minute break of stretching, go to the bathroom, get some water. Is that okay?
Ok, entonces Moses, adelante, y luego
Moses, so if you can go,
Fernanda nos comparte el
and
audio.
then Fernanda will share the audio.
I wanted to add something. Yeah, I wanted to say, like Yona said, for many of us the children born of war who are living in silence and stigma, now healing was never the path here in northern Uganda. Most time, you go to your cycle of support. You are told that we are always told to move on, forget what happened to your mothers, forget how you're going through. You are going to survive. Now, you're going to survive quietly. But what do you think? What do you do with the pain that lives in our body? That is the question that goes to you. What do you do with the pain that lives in your body? And what do you do with the memories that have no words? Sometimes you can't speak about it. Sometimes you're just silent. What do you do about it? Now, to me, this dancing was very healing, because it doesn't always come from speaking, but it can work. This dance was very, very important, because I realized that healing does not come only from speaking, because it can come from moving. When we dance, we do not have to explain our trauma. We could feel it, we could release it, our bodies, and often side of inherited pain become instrument of strength and expression. Now, in the dance, we were not broken, though we cried. And at a certain point, some members never wanted to be part in, until Yona came in and had to help with the skill that she's having right now, had to help healing, because certain things that were coming out was really very painful. And this is where you realize that there's nothing, you really have to do something with the pains that is in you, that you cannot speak about it. But what are that thing that you can do? It is a moving itself. Sometimes we heal from moving. Sometimes we realize that keeping memories, talking about the memories itself, talking about the past in different ways, in most creative ways. When we discover it, we find that there's a lot of ways we can heal ourselves than what keeping quiet in that society think that the children born of war in Uganda should keep quiet, should not have a say in anything. So to us, this dance was very impactful, and it's still very impacting everywhere that we are moving. It is very impactful, because we realize that when we dance, we can shed tears, but in the middle of the day, when we are dancing, sometimes we are laughing, sometimes. So to me, this is way much more of the work that we are doing with the women at Women Advocacy Network. The beat is not far from the tapestry itself. I find the dance is more of a tapestry of life that we lived in, and I really enjoyed every moment that we were in, because personally I participated in the dancing itself, and a lot just came, because when my mother was there in the performance, when she raised her hand, she was shocked when we played a part of shooting, how they were adapted exactly from school. They were all crying when they were giving their testimony. And to us, that is healing that triggered from the memory of what happened in their life, that we are in the center of the generation, the older generation and the coming generation. Now this dance itself, when we put ourselves in, it becomes it makes us be in the center of generation of memory keeper, actually the middle of the generation, the older of our mothers, and then the current one coming. Thank you so much.
Gracias, Moses. Muchas gracias a ustedes por
Thank you,
compartir
Moses,
este maravilloso proyecto.
for sharing
Adelante,
this beautiful
Fernanda.
project. Go ahead, Fernanda.
Vale, el audio está en español.
The audio is in
Ya lo voy a
Spanish. I'll try my best to translate to English.
Mariana, y disculpe que no tengo yo buena señal.
I'm sorry that I don't have very good signal. That happens a lot of the times in our communities. It's a physical matter, it's territorial, but it's also discrimination because a lot of the telephone companies are far away, or they intentionally make that the service, the internet, fails for many of our Mapuche communities. And I'm here with my daughter that has been facing some spiritual things. Many things are happening in the territory. It's a strong military repression, policy repression in Chile, and it's affecting directly our Mapuche people. And this is why I had to send an audio. It doesn't let me connect. The internet doesn't allow me to connect, but WhatsApp is, I'm able to send a message here that what I sent you is the paradise, is Mapuche paradise, that it's not only people, it's not only the human. That song is a song that I created, that I have been working on, that talks mainly about, when I said Mapu Mapu, well, the territory, when we come in and we enter it, and when you harvest it, it renews. And so that is an approximation to the translation. And so that's my proposal on scene, my scenic proposal. And it talks about, we don't talk about death. Death doesn't exist when there is a feeling and a thinking behind it. And on the other side is also the ceremony of asking permission to the territory, to the stance, and to the strength from you, but also spiritual strength. And that's what the video is trying to talk about. To approach or to get closer to the Mapuche cosmovision of the descendants that are not only human. So that's what I'm moving forward on, and that's I am hoping that you can share with the group. And after, in a message, she also said in the video, that's my body, that's my voice, that's the voice and body of all of my Mapuche people.
Oh, gracias, Fernanda.
Thank you so much, Fernanda.
Le mandaremos ahí,
And
tú le transmites
I will,
como la emoción
hopefully
aquí
you
de
can
todos.
send our
Muy bonito poder
excitement
cerrar este,
and to be able to close
momento
this
con esa
moment
invitación
with that
a
invitation
regar
to
el
be able to
territorio y a pensar
harvest
también en las fuerzas
the
espirituales
territory, to
esa
think
fuerza
through
que
the
trae la
spiritual
cosmovisión
worlds
mapuche para
and that
pensar en
strength
memoria.
that the Mapuche
Entonces les
cosmovision brings
invitamos
as
a
well.
un
So
pequeño
we invite you to a
5
little break of
minutos y
5
volvemos
minutes
para
maximum,
nuestra
and then we
última
come
hora
back
de
to
trabajo
our
con
last
los últimos 2
hour of work
proyectos y un
with
cierre de conversación general.
the projects, and
Volvemos
then
a
we'll
las,
close the
bueno,
meeting. We come back in
5 minutos.
5 minutes,
porque
because I don't know,
cerramos
everybody's in different time zones. So in 5 minutes, we'll come back.
Moses, what you doing?
I'm doing well, and you?
Ah, good, good.
Long time.
Long time, long time.
Yeah. How is Indonesia?
Oh, now it's quite hot. Quite hot
That's,
now.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So you in Gulu?
Yeah, I'm in Gulu. I'm with Evelyn here. She's sending
Oh,
me open the video.
okay. Hello.
Hi, Khalid.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay.
How's
Long
the
time.
how's the son? Yeah. Whose name? No, your
Christina?
daughter. Yeah, your daughter. Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Nice to see you.
I'm so happy to see you. How is Indonesia?
It's quite hot now.
It's hot?
Yeah, it's very humid. And but Moses was here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's telling me it's hot.
Yeah.
The weather is hot.
I was telling her it is very hot in Indonesia. It can be cold in the hotel room, but when you put
Yeah.
out like this,
Okay. So it's raining in Gulu now? No?
It's rain?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
rain
Yeah?
is there. It's
Oh,
raining.
good.
It's our season for digging.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Oh my God. I wish I could
Look
meet
at
you now.
I want to ask you.
Oh my Lord. Oh, you look beautiful. How have you been? How are you?
I'm okay. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, sorry. Hi. Yeah. Oh, I think I lost you for a second there. Did you say you're okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. It's very lovely to see you and have you here, Evelyn.
Me too. I'm so happy to see you. How is your hometown?
My hometown is okay, but I'm now back in Vancouver. But yeah, we were all in Indonesia in February, and it was amazing to have Mercy, Moses together with Pilar, Erin, Natalia, and everybody else. It's such an amazing, amazing experience. Yeah.
Oh, that is good. How is Canada now? Is cold?
It's hot and it's cold. I have no idea what the weather wants. We're at the mercy of the weather right now. And we're just grateful for whatever it gives us. I see, is everyone here back?
I guess it's difficult to know, huh? I guess so, yeah.
But yeah, I think we're okay. We're good. Okay. So maybe we can continue to the third theme. So after multimedia and then performative arts, now we can start our third theme, which is living archives. And for this round, we have two projects. One is dialogues and creative exchanges, writings of the river, memories, artistic practices, and ecologies of the Atrato River. with Natalia, Ana Maria Vallejo, Isabel Gonzalez, and your other collaborators from Colombia. And then we also have Moving Memories, Archiving the Indonesian Left, with Mbak Grace Laksana and our friends from Watch 65. I believe we have Mbak Rika and Mbak Afi Aziz here. And just to be mindful of the time, each presentation will have 15 minutes. And then after that, we'll continue with a round of reflections and questions. So Natalia, I'll give the floor to you, 15 minutes for your presentation. And please let me know if you want me to share the PowerPoint.
Aquí compartimos, gracias. Nila, creo que la están
Hi,
viendo.
thanks, Nila. Are you able to see
Yes.
the PowerPoint
Sí.
presentation?
Ok. Entonces, bueno, vamos a hacer una presentación a tres voces, en realidad más
We're gonna
dos
start our
voces que tres.
presentation with
Y
three
este es un
voices
proyecto
or
que tiene
two
muchos
voices.
antecedentes de
This
varias
is a project that
colaboraciones,
has
donde está Pilar, donde
many
está
preceding
José, que
collaborations
es
with
también parte de
Jose,
la
with
red del
Pilar,
Comité
and
por
with
los Derechos de
different
las
people
Víctimas de Bojayá.
working with the
Y
victims
Ana,
of
adelante.
the Bojayá.
Bueno,
massacre.
pues me encanta estar aquí,
Thank you for
saludarles,
being here. I'm
agradecer
so happy to be here.
lo que han compartido con
Thank you
nosotras, con
for that you have
nosotros. De verdad
previously
que
shared
es
with us.
muy hermoso y muy
It's very
inspirador, como lo
beautiful,
dijeron,
very
escuchar
inspiring to
sobre
listen
estos distintos proyectos en
about all
lugares
these
tan
different projects in all
distantes y
these
todos
distant
haciéndose
places,
preguntas muy
all
creativas
doing
sobre la memoria y el
creative
poder de la memoria.
questions about
Así
and
que
around the
muchísimas
memory.
gracias y
So many
aprovecho
thanks to
también en
everybody,
nombre del
and
equipo de este
in
proyecto
the name
para
of the
dar las
team,
gracias a la
I
red de
want to
memoria
thank
transformativa
the
por el apoyo que ha sido
Transformative Memory Network
valiosísimo
because your
para
support has
darle,
been very
digamos, continuidad a este
valuable
proyecto que
to
tenemos,
continue
sobre
with our
todo
project,
en la parte del medio atrato.
especially in the
En
middle
Vigía del
Atrato
Fuerte y en
River, in
Bellavista,
Vigía del Fuerte
aunque
and
también a esto
Bellavista
se suman
towns,
voces y experiencias
but we
que
also have
viajan desde
experiences
Quito
and
hasta esta
voices
zona del medio atrato.
that
Como lo
flew
dijo
from Quito
Natalia, el
to the
proyecto,
middle,
digamos, el
middle Atrato.
proyecto grande, por llamarlo así, es
This is
el
a
de
large project
Escrituras del Río. Es un
that is
proyecto
called
de
Writings of the River.
investigación,
This is a
creación,
research
que
project,
intenta poner en
research and
diálogo el
co-creation
arte y
project
la
that
ecología
wants to put into dialogue art
en
and
esta
ecology
zona del atrato.
in this part of the
Este
Atrato River.
proyecto le da continuidad
This is the project is the
digamos, a
continuation
trabajos que han empezado
of
mucho
previous
antes por la
works,
presencia, sobre todo de Natalia, en toda esta
especially with
zona,
Natalia
que ha
in this
acompañado
part of the
procesos muy
river,
importantes
where she
sociales,
has
comunitarios,
accompanied many
procesos de
community and
memoria,
social
justamente
and
con
memory
Pilar, con
projects, especially
Isabel, que
with
también ya
Pilar
lleva
and
mucho
Isabel,
tiempo allá y le da
have
continuidad
worked for many years in the
especialmente a un
region,
proyecto que tuvimos
especially
hace
it
unos
gives
años que se
continuity
llamaba
to a project we had a
Teatralidades
few
de la
years ago
Memoria y
called
Cuerpos Territorio,
Theatralities of the
aquí en
Memory
esta
and
región, sobre todo en
Body
la parte esta
Territory,
vez de Vigía del Fuerte y
especially
Bellavista.
in the regions of Vigía
Con
el Fuerte and
escrituras del
Bellavista.
río, que es como
With the
llamamos el
writings of the
proyecto,
river, that's
nosotros
how we
lo
call
que
this project.
hicimos para hacer
What
esta
we
propuesta
did
fue
for this proposal
recoger las
was
voces que
to
tuvimos durante
gather
esos proyectos
the
anteriores
voices
y que
from
se hacían
previous
una
projects
pregunta muy fuerte, no
around
solamente
a strong
por,
question
digamos, las vivencias y las
of
memorias
the
de las gentes de la ribera del
living
Atrato, sino por
memories
el lugar, como decían ahorita en la presentación
of
de
the Atrato
Lorenza,
rivers, but
del
also in
río,
the
del
previous Lorenza
territorio, de la
presentation about the
naturaleza,
river,
del árbol,
territory,
la flor, la
the
mata,
trees,
el
the flowers,
pez,
the plants, the
los
fish,
animales,
the
otras voces
animals,
en
other
este
voices
territorio.
in this
Entonces
territory.
allí, digamos, juntando esas
So from
preguntas que la
here,
gente se
we
hacía
gather
para una
the
muy
question that
clara y
the
concreta, que
community
es cómo
asks
aportar desde estos trabajos de
about
memoria y desde estos
on
trabajos
how
artísticos, creativos,
do we provide
culturales y
from this
trabajos
creative
también de memoria y
memory and
resistencia
artistic and
al
resistant
cuidado del
projects?
río,
How do we
al cuidado
contribute
de
to
la
the
vida
caring
ribereña,
of the river, to the caring of the river basin
tanto las
habitants,
personas como otros entes y
including people and
otras
other
especies.
species
Entonces nos
and another
juntamos
families, other
con las
living
mujeres
beings in the
del grupo
territory.
Guayacán,
So we
que
got together with the
ustedes
women from the
conocen. Yo
Guayacan
creo
group,
que
which many of
ahorita en
you
un momentico
already
tanto
know.
Natalia como Isabel
Natalia and
nos
Isabel
podrán contar un poquito más de la
are gonna tell
importancia que
us
tiene el
briefly about the
grupo
importance
Guayacán
of
en toda esta
this
región,
Guayacan
y
group
nos
in
juntamos
the
también
region.
con
And we
el grupo de
also
teatro
gather
Imágenes con quien ya habíamos
with the
trabajado
theater group
anteriormente, que es
called
liderado por Joe
Imágenes, like
Chaverra, y
images,
que hace un teatro
Josavera,
también,
and
digamos,
they
que
do
recoge las historias
theater that
pasadas, pero también
recover
recientes,
all the
actuales,
histories,
de
like
ahí
the
del atrato,
recent ones
y que
and
tiene una
historical
continuidad
memories
de,
of the
digamos, de
Atrato
trabajo
River,
formativo con
and it has
comunidades
a
afro, pero también
complexity
en
of
Vera,
working with
y quien ha sido
a
para nosotros
formative
de verdad como
theater
el
with
interlocutor
Afro-Colombians and Mbera
en el
indigenous
municipio de
communities in the
Mejía.
region, in the
Para esto,
municipality of Bijia.
juntándonos tanto las mujeres de Guayacán, la
We got
gente de
the
esa
women from
comunidad,
Boyacá,
incluso
the
quienes
people
hacen
from the
danza, teatro
community,
con niños en los
especially
colegios, las
people that do
cantadoras de
theater in
alabados y demás,
schools, the
y las
cantadoras
personas de
from
Vigía, no
Alabaos,
solamente el
and
grupo
the
de John,
people
sino que
from
también la
Bijia, not just
comunidad en general se ha
uh,
ido
the
sumando algo a
group,
los
the theater
llamados
group for John, but
dentro de este proyecto de
we,
escrituras del
we
río.
got a lot of people from the community that came
Nosotros
together for this
comprendimos que la
writing
noción
project
de
about the
escrituras
river.
tiene que ser una
So for
noción muy
us,
amplia,
the
una
notion of
noción
writing
que no
is a
solamente
broad notion
incluye
that
textos
not only
escritos de
include
manera, digamos, más
written
tradicional como
text
tal, historias,
in
relatos,
like in a more
etcétera,
traditional way,
sino que
histories
era una
and
idea que
writings,
podía estar muy bien basada
but also an
en un
idea
trabajo de la
that could be
huella, de la
based
marca,
in things
del trazo, del
like
movimiento,
a
del gesto,
movement,
una escritura
uh,
del cuerpo, una escritura del río en el
writing in the
paisaje, una
body, the
escritura del
landscapes,
río en los cuerpos de las gentes,
writing in the river, in the
y que
bodies
en
of
ella,
people,
además de reflexionar sobre esas huellas,
in the
marcas en
fingerprints,
el
in the
territorio y
marks
en la
around
vida,
the
pues también
territory, the
podríamos
river,
ampliarla
and the
a
life,
expresiones
and
artísticas
how
muy
can we
diversas.
uh,
Entonces, esta noción
broaden
de escritura
the
amplia,
artistic
expandida, nos
impression
permite, como
into
he
other
dicho,
contexts. So this
trabajar la
allow us
oralidad,
to work
incluir el canto, incluir la
orality, to
danza,
include dancing,
experiencias
to include
sonoras
singing, to include
del espacio, del
sounds in the
territorio,
space, in
gestos,
the
gestos
territory,
teatrales, pero también dancísticos. Y
theatrical and
gracias al
dancing
aporte justamente de la red, nosotros llamamos a
gestures.
esto
So with the
diálogos para
support of the
unos
red, we
intercambios
call these
precisos dentro del
dialogues
proyecto de
for
escrituras del río,
true precisely
y tanto,
precise
digamos,
co-creations
de la
around the river.
mano o muy acompañados y
So
por dado
being
las
together or
agujas, el
working
intercambio
together
de
with things
Isabel
like
con las mujeres de
exchanging,
Guayacán, como en
embroidering,
otros aspectos,
weaving
con un
with
equipo que
the
está
women from
conformado también por una
Guayacan,
bióloga, un
and also with
hidrólogo,
a
que se
team that includes a
preguntan,
biologist
digamos,
and
de manera, si se
hydrologist.
quiere, ecológica
So
y
putting together
científica por el estado del
the
río, por la vida de la
scientific
gente junto
part
al
about
río, pues
the
propusimos
condition of the
de verdad
river.
un proyecto,
We propose in this project,
digamos,
let's
eh,
say,
pedagógico, porque la idea no era
to
enseñar,
have a
sino
pedagogical
como
project
tener unos diálogos
that
de
include dialogues
aproximaciones
that
metodológicas,
have different
creativas,
approaches, creative methodological
de
approaches
intercambios de
to
conocimientos
create
y de
changes,
saberes, donde
knowledge
tanto el
exchange.
grupo que venía de Medellín
So with the group
como la
coming
gente del
from
atrato,
Medellin,
pues
together with the people
aportara
living in the
dentro de estos
Atrato River,
diálogos
we want
a esa
everybody
pregunta por
to
el
add to
cuidado y
these
la
dialogues
vida
about the
del río,
caring
por las
and
memorias
the
de esta
life
región,
and the memory of
por
the river
lo
and
que
of
se
this
sabe de lo
region,
que fue el río, de lo que es ahora y de lo que
of what
podría
people
ser a
knew what was
través de
the
trabajos de
river
imaginación
before,
muy
what is
bellos en
now,
soportes
and
y
what
lenguajes
it will be in the
artísticos
future
diversos.
through different
Em,
artistic and diverse
Aquí ven pues entonces
languages.
imágenes de todo
So
lo que
as
es
you
el
can see
trabajo de bordado
in the
para un nuevo
presentation,
telón del que va a hablar Isabel. Si
there
tenemos
are
tiempito,
different
yo les
images
podré
of the
contar
embroidery
un
work
poco
that we did
sobre
during
el
the
trabajo de un
workshops.
gesto,
Isabel is going to tell you more about
si
it.
se quiere, performático y teatral que
But
suma estas
this gesture is
escrituras
also
bordadas a unas
performative
escrituras
and
en
theatrical
movimiento de la danza, del
that
cuerpo, como
create and
decíamos hace un
adds to
ratico,
this
y
movement
que
of the
vamos a
writing
poder
through
navegar
dance, to movement
sobre una
that
lancha,
we can
al
also
menos
will
una
be able
partecita
to
del atrato, en
navigate
algo que hemos propuesto
in a
todos juntos,
in
que
part of
será
the
una
river
fiesta del río
that
en
we will call
septiembre
as
en los muelles y
a
el
kind of a
pueblo de Vigía del
party
Fuerte.
around
No
the
quiero
river
olvidar en
that
todo
we will be
esto
doing in
que hay
September in
comunidades
the Atrato
escolares,
River in
hemos
the Vigía
tenido
del
con
Fuerte.
nuestros colegas,
So
tanto en los colegios
we got
afro como en los
many
colegios en Vera,
supporters from
unos
schools,
encuentros en torno a
especially
preguntas
in the
sobre
Beta
la vida en el
communities and
río
Afro
que han hecho
communities,
nuestros
and they've been
compañeros
asking questions
ecólogos
about what
y
is to
que
live,
los
what is
jóvenes y las
living in the
jóvenes de
river,
estos
where
colegios
many youth
han completado con sus saberes su
have
propia
been able
experiencia
to
del agua,
add
del
with their
río, de
own
los afluentes,
experiences
del
around the
atrato
water, the
y
river,
haremos
in the Atrato River and its
una
affluents.
exposición de cartas
And
al río y de
with all
dibujos al
these
río en el
connections,
marco de
we will
la fiesta de
create
septiembre.
some
Entonces, con la
letters around the
invitación a la
river, and this
fiesta
is
de
part of the
septiembre,
party
donde podrían ustedes
we want to put
conocer
together in
en
September.
cuerpo y vivencia esta experiencia,
So
yo le
through
doy
this
la
experience we're
palabra
gonna be having in
a
September,
Isabel, que
I
ha
wanna give
armado todo el trabajo
my
del
word
bordado del
now
telón del
to
río.
pass the voice to Isabel, which she's will tell
Saludos
you more
muy
about
cariñosos
the
todas a todos
embroidery
los que
and
estamos
the
en la
work
reunión.
around the river.
¿Cómo escribe el río?
Thank you so
Es
much
una
to
pregunta
everybody.
que nos hacíamos. Y Macaria y Heidi, dos compañeras de las artesanías Guayacán, nos
We
dicen
have many
que el
questions.
río
We
escribe
asked
por ti.
about this
Tiene
project
los tiempos
about
del
the river with the
jolgorio, tiene los
Guayacan
tiempos
women. We got
en
the
el que el río
times
está más café,
where the
tiene
river is
los
more
ritmos,
joyful,
digamos,
where the
de
river
un
is more quiet.
calendario, que es
So
lo que
the river has
un poco
its
quisimos
rhythms.
acercarnos, porque
So
no
we
solo
create
la
a
aguja
calendar
eh, es la
because
escritura,
we
la aguja que
believe
lleva el hilo, sino que
not just
empezamos a
the needle
pensarnos
that
en
keeps the
que
thread
ese telón
that could make
describía también con
that can
todo lo que el
describe the
río
river.
es,
But
con todo
within
lo que
this
somos con el
backdrop, this
río.
blanket,
Por eso en las
we'll be
primeras
able to
imágenes ven las
create
estampaciones
what is
bordadas
the river for
y
everybody, for
muchas
us.
plantas.
So
Y
we see in
esa
this
primera
creation, in these
experimentación
images,
nos
many
llevó a
plants, many
preguntarnos
things
de
that were
quiénes somos
embroidered.
con el río también.
So
La
this
profe
take us
Heidi es una profe en
to ask us
Vera
a question: why we
y
are
llevó esa pregunta con
with
sus
the river,
estudiantes a su escuela
doing
rural
really with the
y
river?
los chicos
So
nos
we got this
devuelven, y las
question
chicas nos
which
devuelven unos dibujos que nos
into
hablan
we ask
de
these
la
questions
vida,
into
de los
these rural
animales, de las
students,
plantas,
youth,
de
and they
embarcarse,
ask about
de
the
los
rivers,
distintos peces
the
que tiene ese
animals,
río.
the fish, the
Y
plants,
esos dibujos lo
and
que nos
these
permitieron
drawings
fue
from the youth
inspirarnos
allow
en
us
hacer
to
nuevas preguntas.
get
Este
inspired to ask
proyecto ha
more
sido
questions.
de muchos encuentros y
So
de
this project
espacios largos
was made
de
possible
permanecer sin
because
estar
of many
precisamente
gatherings
en el trabajo con las
and
mujeres, sino que
being
empezamos a hacer
for
como una
a long
estrategia que
time
ha
in the
sido como de todo el
territory
proyecto,
working
ha
with
sido
women.
escribirnos
So we start
cartas al
writing
río, pero también
letters
cartas
to the
que nos
river,
permitan
but also
materializar
letters
lo que
that
cada una
allow
es.
us to
Y
materialize what
esas cartas,
every one of us
digamos, dieron
is
como
the project.
resultado en nuestro encuentro de marzo de
The
este
result
año,
of these
justamente, que es cuando
letters
recibimos, digamos, las respuestas bordadas, las respuestas en
was
tela.
gave us some answers
Empezamos a
in the
recibir
gathering we have this
imágenes
year
muy
in May,
concretas de
and
qué
we
veo,
start to
yo qué
receive
siento cuando estoy en el
concrete
río,
images of what
de qué
people
pasa en el
feel
río y vemos
when
las
they're in the river,
cosechas,
what
la
is happening
pesca,
in the
las
river.
flores,
So we see
pero
the
también
fishing, the
en esta
harvesting, the
visita
flowerings
quisimos
around the
poner en el
river. So
centro
in this visit
que
we
esas
did to the
escrituras
river,
están también en el cuerpo y llevarlas a
we
la tela.
saw
Entonces vemos
these
a
writings that we
Daisy
usually
haciendo
see
franjas
in
grandes
the
con la
body now
jagua, que es una
reflected
pintura
into Mrs. Cloth.
de un árbol
As you can
bellísimo que
see
siempre crece a la
in
orilla
the
del río,
photograph,
que
in
está en el
the
cuerpo de las
photographs in the
mujeres
middle.
y de las personas
So we
en
usually
Vera.
see
Y
this
entonces
this
esas
in Vera
pinturas,
indigenous communities
con
in the
todo
body
su
now.
sentir, todo
These
su
drawings
significado, hacen parte hoy
significance
del telón, pero
are
también
now
ver
part
plantas
of
que
the
están
blanket on
ahí
the
sobre la
backdrop.
tela y esa
We see
plantica se
also
llama
plants
Prende Amor. Y es
on
esa
top of the
plantica
blanket.
crece
This
por
plant that
todos
you see at
lados
the
como una
bottom
maleza
right is
y
called
es la
Prende
que
Amor,
decidimos
like
tomar para hacer
kind
una
of giving
estampación
love.
botánica que fuera la orilla, que representara
This is
toda
a
esa
plant that
orilla. Hicimos
represents
muchos gestos para
the
que la
river
creación
shore.
textil
We did many
fuera
gestures
distinto, un poco lo que nos dice Lorenza,
to
¿cierto?
have
Como
a
ver el
different
territorio
creative
nuevo,
projects to
¿cierto?
see
Un
the
territorio
territory
que
from a
cuando
new
lo
perspective,
cuidamos
a
nos
new
habla de manera
territory,
distinta y
a
también nos
territory that
permite
when we
crear
care
distinto
for the
y
territory, it
hacer otras
allows us to
memorias.
see it in a
Entonces,
different
es
way
una
and
tela,
to
es
create new
algo muy
memories.
bello fue que
So it's a
realmente
piece of
hicimos
cloth
espacios ceremoniales
that
alrededor de
create
este telón que vamos construyendo.
that
Ir
was
al
created
río a
around
lavar la
different
tela,
ceremonial
¿cierto?
spaces. For example,
Volver
washing
a
the cloth
decir una
in the
cosa hermosa
river,
que nos dice Macaria, una de nuestras
in the Atrato
compañeras, es
River,
bajar
and
al río para
something the
qué, por
Macario
qué hacer esto. Y Macaria
asked,
dice, para
why
decirles que estamos vivas.
to come
Yo
to the
voy al río
river
para decirle
to
que estoy
tell the
viva,
river that we are
¿cierto?
alive.
Y
I
esa
come to
vida
the
es de
river
muchos
to tell the
sentidos,
river
¿cierto? Es
that
la
we
vida
are
de
alive.
ella propia, pero la vida de todas.
So it's
Entonces,
the
es una
river
tela
of
que vamos y
the
llevamos al
it's the
río,
life
un
of the
poco
river,
como lo
but
que
is
decía
the life of
Moisés,
all the women that are
en
here
ese ritual de salir todo
standing
el
next to
tiempo,
the river.
pensar los
So
movimientos que
this
implica
ritual
el
is
trabajo con
also
la
about
tela, que no es solamente
thinking
atravesar la goma,
about the movement
lavarla, moverla, escurrirla.
and
Hay
not only
gestos
like
corporales que también pueden
doing some
pensarse
embroidery, but
justamente como
also
lo que estamos
different
proponiendo,
corporal
que
body
es
movements, very
una
gestures
coreografía, una
that allow
performática
us to
también
do
que
a
lleva
kind
el
of
textil.
a
Y luego entonces
choreography.
esta es la composición
So
que
this
tenemos,
creates us
una composición
final
que crea imágenes,
composition that creates
que
images
incluso es como a muchas capas,
that
vista
has
desde el
many
aire,
layers when you
como
see
zoom
it
que
from
hacemos
the
como si
top, from the
estuviéramos
air.
dentro del río y vemos los peces que
So
están dentro
if
del
we
río, vemos
zoom
la
the image,
dorada,
we can see
pero también
the
vemos los
fishes like
remolinos que
the
tiene el
dorada.
río. Entonces,
We also
hay
see
mucha narrativa
the
que nos
different parts of the
permiten
river.
fortalecer esa memoria
So
de lo que es la vida en el
many
presente,
things
pero también la vida
allow us to see
que
the
queremos hacia el
river
futuro. Me gustaría que
in the
escucháramos
present,
un
but also
canto
in the
que
future.
hacen las
I want
mujeres,
you to hear
las cantadoras.
singing
Es un canto que hicieron para el 2022, pero
done
lo
by
traen
the cantadoras
en la
de Atrato
elaboración del telón. Y no sé, Nati, si se puede escuchar,
that allow
pues
us
como que
to
lo podríamos leer.
that were
Si no
part
se
of
Vamos a
puede.
intentar si se
this
escucha,
project
vamos a ver.
of the backdrop.
¿Escuchan?
No.
No, she's asking if you're listening
Ay,
to the song.
auxilio. No, no se escucha.
Entonces,
Entonces, como ya nos quedan solo 2
So
minutitos,
because we
yo
only
creo
have
que
2
puedes
minutes
tú
left
ir
for the
cerrando
presentation,
para ahorita seguirá en el momento de preguntas.
we're gonna
sí.
close
Entonces hay como un canto que nos habla
presentation.
justamente de las
So
hermandades
is
que
singing
tenemos con el
talk
río,
about
esos
the
otros parentescos,
sisterhood
cómo a
we have with
través
the
de
river
las manos, el
and
bordado,
how
la
through
composición,
the hands, through the
también
weaving,
volvemos a hacer un terrón que ha sido una
we
experimentación muy diferente
come
al
back
trabajo que textilmente se ha
to
hecho
do
durante 20 años
a diff
en el grupo.
to change
Entonces creo
the
que ha
way we
sido
do this
como
different kind of
traer otros parentescos,
methodology
imaginar otras formas de
to
narrar la
imagine
historia
different
del río.
forms of thinking and do narrate ourselves around the river.
Gracias, Nila. Vamos a dejar ahí.
Thank you, Nila.
Creo que
That was our
ya en
presentation.
la
Thank you so much.
conversación y las preguntas podremos
So in
compartir
the
más.
next conversation, you will have a space
Ay, ¿cómo
to
dejo
ask
de
some
compartir
questions.
ya?
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. That was a very, very thought-provoking and impressive presentation. Pilar, you raised your hand, but
No, I was just trying to clap and the
see.
screen decided I was raising my hand, but I was only clapping.
Okay, yes, the AI has entered the chat. We'll have their next presentation from Grace and the team from Watch 65. Grace, Rika, you would like
Yeah, I will do the presentation.
okay.
Or do you want to share, or should I share my?
Yeah, I can share it
Oh.
from that, Rika.
Yeah. I can also share, Nila. It's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Eva. Oh, sorry. Can you see now the presentation? All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity to be here and hearing all these amazing works of everyone. My name is Rika Teo. I am here on behalf of Watch 65. Grace and me are working on this project and designing this project together last year, and then we got the support from the National Memory Network. And maybe I should introduce a bit about Watch 65. It is an Amsterdam-based collective that advocates the injustices, including historical injustices for human rights violations in Indonesia. And okay, first of all, this initiative of our project is called Gerak Ingatan in Indonesia, meaning moving memories in English. The context is that it is created within the fact that there is this silence in Indonesian historiography about the Indonesian left. So many memories and narratives about the Indonesian left, we see it does not move anymore, and we want with Gerak Ingatan to make these memories move, or at least we want to make the memories to move people as well. So there are two goals here: to make the memories move again, and to move people, to make people remember again, to make people do something about it. And this is I mentioned why the memories do not move anymore, and it is a persisting situation until now. Because these memories, they are marginalized and inflected in the Indonesian state narrative after the 1965-1966 mass killing on 1.5 million people suspected as communists, and especially after the new military regime who reigned Indonesia since 1967 until 1998 rewrote the history. So one of the causes why this persists until now is the silence of the archives, since many archives of and about the Indonesian left have been destroyed, or at least now the existing ones are cloaked in secrecy by the state or fragmented elsewhere in Indonesia, but also in other countries. And the Netherlands, where we are based, is among the country where the most archives of the Indonesian left are kept, because one of the reasons is because it is where the 1965 political exiles took refuge. These are the left-leaning Indonesians who were at that time in 1965, they were abroad studying, or they were in the middle of their governmental duties and so on. And so they couldn't come home, fearing persecution, and also because their passport were annulled by that regime. And in the 1980s, they finally must get out of China and the Soviet Union, where they resided at that time, and they went to Europe, and mostly come to the Netherlands because there is this colonial link between Indonesia and the Netherlands. So they brought with themselves not only documents, but also, of course, their life stories. So these stories make an important part of the memory of the Indonesian left, and the moving memories aims, at least in this initial year, to document their stories and their archives and activate them. Let me show you a bit about our website. So this is an archival website. We are using archival platform Omeka. I think Transnational Memory Network also uses it. And we want to make it as a community digital archival platform. So that's why the tagline here, the narration of the archives of the Indonesian left. So we collect, curate, and activate archives of the Indonesian slave movement and resistance. So the first step for our website is doing the digital curation. In most of the cases, we visited Dutch archival institutions to find the relevant archives of the Indonesian left, and then we curate or make selection or choices. And these two files, for instance, here, they are from the archives of the International Institute of Social History. So here you can see all the metadata. We strive to make a detailed metadata which provides a bit story behind the archives, which you cannot find like in the finding aid of International Institute of Social History. And then we digitize these textual documents. In addition to the existing archives, we also conduct oral history interviews and borrow archives from those we interview and digitize them afterwards. For instance, these documents are about the Indonesian well-known communist painters called Basuki Resobowo, which came from 3 different sources. So the first one is his painting kept by a Dutch scholar. Basuki himself is already passed away years ago. And the second one here, the condolence letter, we got it from an Indonesian journalist. And the last one is from the archives of Indonesian committee, kept at the Institute of Social History as well. But the Indonesian committee is also an interesting archives where we found many archives about the political exiles, because these political exiles, they were not only residing in the Netherlands, but many of them were also involved in this Indonesian committee, like an organization who advocated against post-colonial violence in Indonesia at that time. And this is how our collections look like. We compile the archives together and connect them by making a collection. That's why what you see here is various collections. We try to connect the archives that we curated and digitize based on certain provenance or topic.
Oh no, I think that Rika is accidentally perhaps left the Zoom meeting. But Grace, do you want to continue until we have Mbak Rika?
Sorry, my laptop is dying. Okay, so Nila, can you share the screen, and I use Afi's screen? Yes, it's okay. Yeah. Nila, can you go to the next slide? Yes. And this is the third steps, which is digital storytelling. So it is basically what we meant by narration. So this is the final step that to activate the archives. So we narrate them. We tell the story using the archives that we have already curated and digitized. So we create these exhibits, or in Indonesia we call it eksposisi, to tell a small part of the lesser known histories of these people or events. And next. An example here is this exhibit about a trade unionist. His name is Suparna Sastadireja. He's a labor co-founder of Indonesian Plantation Labor Union who lived in exile after 1965. So we created, as you see here, 5 stories about him from his youth, during his exiles, his activism in Netherlands, his efforts in collecting documents to write the history of Indonesian trade union, and present his various articles and publications. And next, Nila. And if you click one of the pages, it will show the article, which is here. We have here some documents from his archives. And we tell a story about how he did protest against the execution of political prisoners in Indonesia in 1980s. Next slide, please. In addition, for some of our exhibition, our exposisi, we also open the article contribution. So we are open it to members of Watch 65. We are also open the article contribution for others who are related to the archives and exposition. Like this one in the presentation, it is the one written by a scholar activist who knew personally the artist Basuki Resobowo, which I had in the previous show, and he wrote about him, his memory about him as an uncle in the solidarity work. Next one. So this is what we currently have after 1 year working process. We have for this archival website, I'm working on it with other 2 editors, and for the exposition, with our current resources, we only manage to make 1 exhibition per month. And until now, we have already 10 expositions, 18 collections, and 183 digital archival objects. And we are also fortunate to have a colleague who helped us to share this website in Instagram. If you want to take a look, it is here, Gerak Ingatan. And the plan is for us to focus on political exiles and their activism in the Netherlands until the exposition will that I will explain in the next slide, Nila. Yeah, this is the plan to make meaningful engagement with broader public. So we have plan for an on-site exhibition, 60 years of 1965 commemoration, with a topic focusing on solidarity and resistance in September in Amsterdam. And we will use what we have created so far in Gerak Ingatan, in Moving Memory for the exposition. We will use the curated photos, the posters, the poems, and we will also use the exposition, the stories about the exiles telling the stories about the exiles under the pictures of some exiles. We will give voice-over stories about them. And then we will also discuss Gerak Ingatan in the seminar during the exposition. And the last thing I forgot to mention here, we are also making a film about Indonesian committee, which will be previewed in this exposition as well. So the film is also based on the archives that we have collected for Gerak Ingatan or Moving Memories. And that's it from me. Thank you very much.
So much, Rika and the team from Watch 65. Wow, I think, yeah, we have witnessed and listened to very rich testimonies and modalities of memories and memory work, from memory work that is based on and situated in landscapes and territories and ecologies, communities, embedded in the bodies through movement, and then taking it to the digital platform through multimedia storytelling. And we see how these modalities also have shape of what becomes of living archives. So I would like to open this floor for any questions or reflections. Oh, we have Paolo. Yes, Paolo, please.
Thank you, Nila. No, first of all, I'd like to thank you very much, Rika, for showing us this incredible work, very accurate, very relevant, and how extensive it has become. So that's something that really thrills me. And I was wondering, there is in Indonesia a social movement or a party or some organized groups that are making an issue out of a political issue out of this incredible memory work, and if it's what position has in the public agenda this memory of these systematic murders that happened in the 60s. And if you let me, Nila, I want to address also the Atrato work. I take advantage of the translation. I switch to Spanish. I feel comfortable. Agradeciendo muchísimo
Wanna thanks a lot to the group working in the middle Atrato
con muchas ganas de que el
that
Atrato
they have
siempre ha sido un lugar de conexiones,
that they know that Atrato has been a place of connection, a place of connection for weaving stories, families, threads of many kinds.
Me estaba preguntando
So my
cómo
question
hacer
is,
para
how
que esas historias y
do
esos
we make those
trabajos del medio Atrato
stories,
pudieran
those different
conectarse con otras
works,
iniciativas que se están
how
dando en el
can
Bajo
we
Atrato?
connect
Estoy
those
pensando
stories with other
Carolina
initiatives
Saldarriaga, que
happening
acaba de
in
ser
the lower
nombrado en la
Atrato,
Universidad Nacional de Medellín,
especially with Carolina from
una
the
tesis laureada
National
sobre la
University in
lecturas de las
Medellín.
emociones en el Bajo Atrato.
She talked
Y
about
trabaja con telas muy
the
parecidas a las
memories
que
and
han
connections
mostrado
in
ustedes
in lower
en
Atrato, and
es
she
parte
has
de
a
la red de
similar
Grupo de
work
Transformativa. Pero
I
también
think it's
a
very
la
rich,
iniciativa de, de
but
Selva Endo,
also
que es un festival de teatro que nace en
to
Carmen
the
del Darién,
initiative
con
born in
firmantes de la
Carmen de
paz,
Darien called Selva Dentro, which is a
ahí de
theater
nacimiento en Carmen
festival.
del Darién, y que tiene
They
las
also work
matacandelas y
in
que
the
por
Darien
esos
River,
viajes performáticos
and they
en
do
el río,
performance and they travel
pues
around
es
the
una
river.
oportunidad también de
So it's
conectar grupos de teatros locales. Ellos han venido
We got many different theater groups, local theater groups that have been come together, and we have been able to do different theatrical work, performative work around the river. I keep dreaming about the Trato River because I think it's a place to connect those artistic experiences of memory and to share different experiences. Thank you so much.
We take another question from Catalina, and then we can have more dedicated time for the answers. Catalina, please.
Thank you, Nila. I have a question for the group of the Moving Memories Archive project. And is that I would like to ask if you can share a little bit more about the platform you decided to use for the archive, how you made that decision, because I think that we will be dealing with a similar question of how to, I would love to learn from your experience. So if you can tell us a little bit more about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Catalina. Marika, would you like to start?
Yeah, I would answer first question from Paulo first. So about the connection to the current social movement in Indonesia. We try to, so we have already the existing collaboration with activists and social movements in Indonesia before this Gerak Ingatan is established. And then it was through the previous International People's Tribunal on 1965, which is held in Amsterdam 2020, in Den Haag in 5 years ago. 10 years ago, sorry. 10 years ago. And then we use these existing networks to share about this Gerak Ingatan. And for the new younger generation students, we use the media, social media platform. And we are also engaged in various, for instance, advocation and actions through our networks with the other social movement in Indonesia. And we also have connection with the similar movement about memory, so other memory works. So there is this Perpustakaan Genosida, or the library genocide, which is initiated by a friend in Indonesia, who is part of BRG collective. And usually after we made an exhibition, then we share the link to this genocide library, and then he will post it in the genocide library. So vice versa, when he has archives that is suitable for or relevant to our exhibit, we will also provide the link to his archives. So in this way, we like helping each other to make more impact for the social movement. And for maybe Grace, do you want to add something to this question?
Well, I think Rika has already explained the things that we did with the website. But again, it's very early because the formal launch is still in September. So we hope to utilize all these networks that we already have to boost the readers and also accessibility. So yes. But I think what we intended to do is also the main thing that we intended to do with this website is to give spaces for the exiles who are here, to kind of have a place to tell their stories and to share their memories, because within the discourse on 65 in Indonesia, there hasn't been a lot of talks about the experiences of these exiles, which has they have very different experiences. I mean, they are forced to move away. They lost their connections with families and their hometown, and so it's a very different emotions also. And we want to first it's not a matter of whether politicians will pick this up, but it's a matter of how the survivors and exiles
Can share their
these
stories.
spaces. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, and to add on that, there is also, of course, a challenge, because not everyone want to share their stories. So we need to really like approach the exiles before we are able to get them interviewed, and to be able to like get their permission to use the archives. So we don't want to be like exploitative, to get exploitative with these exiles, but we try to like, what we are aiming to do is making space for them to share the stories, and so that their memories can also be known to more people, especially the current generation who, yeah, who is a bit lost or not connected so much into the memories of the 1965. Yeah. And for the second question from Catalina about Omeka, yeah, at first we wanted to make the archive. So the aim is to show the archives, to use the archives, to activate the archive. So that's the idea. So we have already like search for archival website, and I have a background as archivist as well. So that's why I learned about Omeka. So I think Omeka is very user friendly and it's not so complicated. So then, yeah, we decided to use it for our project. But yeah, there is a catch afterwards actually, because most of us, the members of the Watch 65, we have like basic. No, we most of us are a writer. Let's say there are many journalists in our group, so they like to write long form pieces. While Omeka is only like in exhibits you can write, but it is advised not to like write too long. So it is quite difficult to convince people. Okay, not writing. Please do not write more than 800 per article. Let's say. But in the end, it works because, we take benefit of Omeka as we want to show the archives and then, activate them into stories.
Thank you, Marika. And then Ana Maria or Natalie, if you want to continue.
Bueno, antes quería decir solo una cosita sobre
I
la
want to say
presentación
something
de
about
las
the
compañeras de Indonesia que
presentation
están en Holanda.
from our
Muchas gracias,
partners from Indonesia
porque creo que nos traen
and Uganda,
un elemento
because
nuevo a pensar esta
I
idea de
think
los
you
archivos
brought
vivos,
one new
y es
element about
cómo
thinking
ponemos
about
en
this living
movimiento
archives.
esa vida del
How do we
archivo, ¿cierto? Como
put
que nos muestran
emotion
esa
this
intención
this living
de
archive,
impulsar
this
las formas del
intention
archivo moverse, del
to
archivo
to
ponerse en
move the
movimiento y
archive
ponerlo en movimiento. Y eso
and
creo que es muy
to create
poderoso
movement around the
para la
archive.
noción de memoria
So I think this
transformativa.
is very important for the
Y sobre lo de
transformative
Paolo,
memory
no, pues
network.
nosotras soñamos
And
contigo,
Paolo,
Paolo, porque
we dream about you
creo que es un río que es muy
because
rico en
this is a river
experiencias, en
that has
Quibdó
is
también hay
very rich in
muchas, en el
experiences.
Alto Atrato que
Though
digamos ni siquiera
in the
conocemos
upper
muchos de
Atrato that we
nosotros,
don't know
hay
very much,
otras.
there are many
Entonces yo creo
experiences,
que
very
ahí
rich
el reto
experiences.
es poder
I think
seguir
our
documentando
challenge is to
y
keep
juntando hilos en
documenting
la medida de lo
and
posible
trading,
el trabajo
weaving
de
together
Isabel con el
experiences.
archivo
For example,
de
the work of
testimoniales hace un
Isabel
poco eso,
with
no solo en el Atrato, sino en muchos
testimonial
otros lugares.
blankets in the Atrato and in many
Y
different
también
places
hay
as
otros
this.
trabajos sobre
But there are
archivos,
many
por
different
ejemplo, de
works about
teatro,
archives, theater archives
que se han hecho desde la maestría en
that
memoria
we had done
social
through
de la Escuela de
the,
Bibliotecología.
the master
Y bueno,
work
y creo
in
que
the
el MemoLab
university,
que se
through the
hará este
library
año en
school.
Colombia y esperemos en el
So this
Atrato
year
también va a ser una
in
posibilidad de
Colombia,
seguir
and we
juntando
hope in
esas
Atrato,
distintas
having this
expresiones,
gathering and
lenguajes,
transformative memory is
modos de
being,
poner
it
en
will,
movimiento
we wish this to
la
be a
memoria.
space to move the memory, to put all those archives those
Me encanta la
together.
poesía que le pone a
Thank
todo
you
lo
for
que
the
hace.
poetry that you put in all your work. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Now, just to be mindful of time, we still have an open discussion left in our session. So I'm just going to give the floor for Pilar to continue.
Yes, thank you, Nila. And indeed, we have only 8 minutes left. So it won't be much of a really open discussion. But what I would say in the agenda that we sent a number of questions for that open discussion. I just copied those questions on the chat. And in part, some of the comments and interactions today have addressed those questions. So what we thought that we could do in these last 7 minutes is to briefly share something about the TMIN and the emergent research creation and what is next, because that, I think might be something that everyone is interested, and that we focus in one specific question, that is the open discussion, reflecting on what we learned. What suggestions would you have for the next iteration of the emergent research creation? So we want to, learn from this and say that this year we're going to make another call for proposals from based on this extremely rich exchange and these amazing projects. What are your suggestions for the next iteration of the ERC? But to begin with, Erin is just to briefly explain about, is going to briefly explain about something you were going to do at the beginning of the meeting about TMIN and the ERC.
Thank you, Pilar, and thank you everyone, especially to our host Natalia and Grace and our voices and ears right now, Francisco and Natalie, and to Nila for also being the person who connected us all. It's been a great morning, afternoon/evening. As most of you know, we have a really large network of about 40 plus people in it, and 17 different partner organizations all over the world, all of us exploring different ways that memory practices can activate new ways that we can be, think, or know together about the past, to live through violence, to regather people and their connections to the land, and to imagine different kinds of futures. So we've had a number of big research activities to date. Some of you have been with us through the Memo Lab in Toronto in 2024, where we looked at questions of difficult archives and transformations in Black and Indigenous lives. We also had our first knowledge exchange in Indonesia in February, hosted by EC, on memories of the violent past across generations. Both of these were excellent exchanges, core to our group. I think most of you have been at one or another in the past. We do plan another one forthcoming in Colombia. We think around memories of the river. So more to come. All of these are shared in our newsletters. So I hope that you're getting our newsletters, and if you're not, just pop your email in the chat, and we'll be sure to make sure you're added to our list. We've also had some fabulous traveling exhibits in each of those places, including one more recently in Vancouver. And we're building our digital archive to house the different events and activities so everyone can have access to what's going on around the world. And we hope to place some of these videos and podcasts and whatnot into that digital archive so it has a sustained memory. More on that as it becomes available. This meeting, we're entering our third year, but this meeting marks the end of our first year with the Emergent Research Creation, designed to support these kinds of creative collaborations amongst members and exploring these different modalities and methodologies of memory work. And we strongly believe this kind of exchanges are going to ignite more ideas and more collaborations in the future. We had about 17 proposals that were submitted, 17, 18 for a limited amount of funds. I think it was like within a month we collected those proposals. So it showed the amount of interest in it. We were encouraged by that. And just so you know, we did have a committee of 8 people who were representative of the different regions in the network, of artists, scholars, and community and students, to deliberate on those 18 proposals. So everybody reviewed the proposals. There was a criteria that we assessed them with, and then we came together in about a 3-hour meeting to adjudicate them. So we'll be reconstituting that committee, and we will be making another call in July this year. So please look out for that. I really don't want to say too much more because we'd love to get to this, if you don't mind staying a little bit longer, final question, because that will help us revise the call for proposals going out shortly. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Erin. And yeah, precisely that is the part that we would love to hear from you at this moment, based on this learning. What you have as a suggestions, for our next call for proposals and from the next emergent research creation. So any thoughts are more than welcome. And we want to keep shaping these ideas and the projects in dialogue with everyone. So please, this is open for you for any suggestions. Including things that you would like to see continue, in terms of criteria or in terms of, emphasis, focus. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I
Go
say
ahead,
something?
Alit.
I'd like to thanks everybody for the presentation, but to answer the question, I suggest about the international interaction between all the memories, all the memory works. I think that's important today because they will give a more broader perspective of memory work in the region with international, we can call international collaboration or international solidarity. It means more bring the memory work in the more international perspective about memory. I think that's my suggestion.
Thank you. Excellent, Alit. Thank you.
Yes, Pilar, if I can.
Yes, go ahead, Grace. Yeah, go ahead.
So, yes, I was thinking along the same line. So, what I think is great from this year's experience is we had this international interaction at the end of the project, right? So, if we can keep this for the next year's call, and maybe to expand it further than just one meeting, we can think of maybe a kind of virtual exhibition, a collective virtual exhibition, for example, or I don't know, if possible, an in-person gathering or something that is also will kind of strengthen this international collaboration, not only about the projects but also about the voices that we are incorporating in our project. So testimonies, memories. So bring them together and yeah, and learn from that. I mean, from this one meeting, I've already learned a lot about this, the mobility, the embodiment, the non-human elements also. So it's already very rich. So I think more interactions can also bring this upscale this experiences.
Thank you, Grace. Catalina? You are muted, Catalina.
Thank you. I wanted to say that, you know, for us, this participation in ERC, it boosted our project. Like, it gave us the beginning so that we can keep going. And of course, these projects always require further support. So it's great to hear that the ERC will have a new call. And I think that in any case, that seed capital that we get also helps us, you know, look, because we know the resources are limited everywhere, no? So to look for resources elsewhere. But what I was going to say is that even if, I mean, that it just today was such an important just eye opener of the potential of this crossing, no? That I agree with Grace that an in-person thing, because to me, I feel like I want to know more about everyone. And it's so different when you meet in person, which I know is much more costly, but it allows you, you know, a much deeper sense of what other people are doing. And I was also thinking that, I mean, I listen to the projects and I think all the time about my teaching as well. No, how do I combine my teaching with this kind of project? Because there's only so much we can do. I think, no, for myself, there's only so much I can do in my lifetime. But if I can bring my students into thinking about their professional work in these terms, I think that's the way to expand it. And so I was thinking that it would be also very useful to bring our experience, I mean, somehow to bring pedagogy in for our students. No, how could we think of ways to enrich our students from these experiences? No, maybe thinking about participating in each other classrooms virtually, or coming up with some kind of material that we can all use in our classroom, using precisely what we are producing with the communities as material that our students can work with.
Excellent. And I think we are having really ideas not only about, you know, the call for proposals, but about how we are going to continue, you know, a communication that continues to build in terms of learning, knowledge creation, and also ideas for meetings and, you know, further ways to disseminate. Moses, I give you the last word. Go ahead, Moses.
Yes, thank you so much for this wonderful, wonderful opportunity. I have, I mean, ERC has provided opportunities for different impactful projects that have been implemented by different partners, which has really been very, very impactful in our different locations or locality. I have a suggestion, and I think it's important as we move forward. I think it's important to put emphasis on sustainability and capacity building, simply because just to ensure that, because this project has brought about it has brought about a lot of impact, positive impact within the different localities where different projects have been implemented. So I believe it's important to focus so much on capacity building and sustainability so that we see much more greater impact of these projects that we are doing. Because as for our case here of Uganda, of the Youth Advocacy Network, the DocuDance, it has really been impactful. So the question is how do we make ensure that it's more, the impact that has been created keeps on growing further, and it doesn't doesn't diminish. So I think it's important that we look at what are these the strategies that we have to use to ensure that these impacts, the positive impacts that we have already received, or the rewards that we have already reaped, we need to keep on reaping more and more and more as time goes on. So I think it's better, and it's important that we put a lot of effort on building capacities of the different partners to ensure that we see more change as we move further. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Moses. And Anna and Natalia will go to you in a moment, but just to say, I think first with Catalina's suggestions on the pedagogy and the part of that one, I think also I can see that some of the committees that are within the network, like the training committee, could benefit from these suggestions and maybe consider as well these suggestions. And as well, I think Moses, and it was kind of mentioned along the way, this question about the sustainability is a question as well, in terms of how we are going to formulate the criteria for the next round of projects. So that's very, very important. Ana or Natalia, I don't know, or the two.
No, solo ya está escrito en el chat lo que iba a decir
What I'm
Ricardo.
gonna say is written in the chat,
Sería muy
and I translated,
interesante
and I think
que
it will be
estas
very
páginas y
important that
protocolos que están
these
saliendo de los
products, these
proyectos
websites, and
puedan
these
entrar a la
resources
página de memoria transformativa a
could
través de
be
un link
included in
o que
the
puedan seguir
Transformative
navegando,
Memory Network
así como
website.
navegamos por los Memo Labs, por los
So
intercambios
the
de
way we
conocimientos, las
navigated through the memo
exhibiciones.
labs, the exhibition,
That
the
is a plan,
exchange,
but now I
we
think it is a
can do
further
that
plan, and probably one in
in the
particular to see
website.
with the digital archive as well with the network. But yeah, and as well in terms of the newsletter. But definitely, I think that's a very important. It's such a rich set of experiences, and I think that how they dialogue with each other and the international perspective that they provide us, at least introduce it to us, it calls for a lot. So I think we have a lot to work with. What we can probably, we may, kind of collect a little bit all these ideas and ask further via email for any further suggestions, given that we can have to cut short this discussion. But for now, I think this is a great beginning, and with this, we can work in formulating that in the next ERC and continuing conversation with all of you. As Erin said, special thanks to Grace and Natalia, who, kind of thought of this idea, designed it, and, agreed to facilitate and met at very early or late hours to plan on this. So thank you so much. And thank you to Natalie and Francisco for the interpretation, and to Nila for all the major organizing work. And those of you who are awake still at midnight, thank you so much for being awake.
And if I can add, Pilar, I also would like to thank, I believe it was Marika or somebody else from Watch 65 that actually came up with this idea of having the ERC
Yes.
gathering in the first place. So thank
Yeah.
you so much for giving us the inspiration to do the work.
Great idea. Yeah. And I think we also, I hope that you copy all the links, but nevertheless, we will save the chat. Someone is saving the chat and share those links, because, you can listen to and dance with Jeff's song, or dance with the docu dance, or, navigate the river with, Escrituras del Río. So there's much to do. So goodbye, everyone. Hasta luego, todo el mundo. Thank you. Gracias.
Gracias, thank
Okay.
you.
Gracias.
Gracias, hasta pronto. Bye.
Gracias,
Gracias,
abrazos.
chao, chao,
Bye
gracias.
bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.